Welcome to Balanced Body Podcast. My name is Dr. Brent Anderson with Polestar Physical Therapy and Pilates. I'm a physical therapist specializing in Pilates for rehabilitation, and today I have Wendy, a physical therapist in Miami, and Sean helping us out. And I wanted to talk about a special population, people who have suffered from an amputation. And one of the nice things about the Pilates equipment is it allows us the ability to isolate movement where we can move from. For example, with Sean's residual limb, his left leg, we're able to work with him through a range of motion. So I've asked Wendy to help take him through some of his exercises. And go ahead and press up. And we can use the springs to basically be able to assist the flexion. And the arc of the tower bar itself moves through space and provides us with a very safe arc of movement that Sean can participate in. So he's going to feel a little bit of a stretch at the end, up the top. He has a little bit of tightness in the back of his hamstrings. And yet at the same time, he doesn't have full power in that leg yet, coming back from the trauma itself. So this is a great environment to be able to introduce Sean's leg into some movement and extension, some weight-bearing activity, some load through that leg and through that ankle. At the same time, you notice that the bar is on the ball of his foot, or his foot is on, the ball of the foot is on the bar. That's it for a very particular reason. It's very common that you lose some of the dorsiflexion in that ankle. So one of the challenges that Sean's going to be up against is his ability to stand on that leg with good dorsiflexion. So now we're just going to straighten the leg all the way out and up and allow the bar to come down and feel that stretch. I know it might be a little uncomfortable, Sean, but to feel that stretch of the tower bar, just give it a nice static stretch into that calf muscle, into the Achilles tendon. So we could hold this here for 20, 30 seconds and allow him to really get a good stretch that's safe, that's in a range of motion that's good for him as we prepare him to be able to do standing and walking activities. Another exercise that we can do with Sean on the trapeze table, and particularly working with the residual limb now, is to be able to put him into the Velcro of cuffs. And I have asked Wendy to show us 3 exercises with the long spring series that Sean's able to do with the Velcro of cuffs. The first is just being able to do hip disassociation like you would do with feet and straps or long spring series. And noticing his ability to start using and engaging his hip extensor muscles in the right leg as well as in the left. He can then go into his hip circles, and hip circles now become a little more dynamic because what he's really trying to do is to engage all the muscles of rotation and circumduction in the hip, which are very important for him as he starts progressing towards his ability to stand and potentially to have a prosthesis. And the last one is reciprocal movement. And reciprocal movement, or scissors, is really what represents walking. So the more range of motion that he has with the ability to do the scissors on both legs represents, or at least in a foreign environment, his ability to walk or to ambulate in the future. These are 3 more exercises working with the particular population of a below-knee amputation that we think are very practical in the Pilates environment. The last exercise that I wanted to show on the trapeze table, working with the population with amputees, is bridging. And Wendy has been able to modify the environment so that she's built up the table to meet the height of the residual limb so that Sean can be involved in the bridging activity, which I feel is one of the most important activities in spine health. It's a bit of segmental movement, which you might think that would be impossible for Sean to do without having 2 legs the same length. By building it up, he's able to do the bridging. So Sean, let's have you do a couple repetitions of just lifting the bottom up. And again, as we go through bridging, it's not only about articulating through the spine, it's also about him using his hip extensors and his hamstrings in the legs to be able to strengthen up so that he can withstand, again, gravity when he returns to walking and with the prosthesis. And that's great, relax. Again, thinking of it really is endless in the potential and the abilities that we have to be able to restore health, to be able to restore movement with almost any population of patients that are looking to return to health. And that sort of is the mission of Pilates. This is Brent Anderson, again bringing you another podcast, working with another special population that Pilates serves so well. And if we can just think of what Joseph Pilates stood for, which was whole body health, whole body commitment, and having a vigor and zest of life. That's my wish for you. Look forward to seeing you in the next podcast.